Hello there. 70,000 farmers have just shut down Poland, and the mainstream press ignores it. The establishment is obviously hoping you'd forgotten all about this. Today's massively escalated farmer protests in Poland are re-energising the Europe-wide pushback against the WEF-driven anti-agriculture policies as practised by the EU and UK establishments. And this is a massive day for the farmers' protests, with around 70,000 farmers set to create 500 blockades around the country. And on top of blockading cheap produce entering from Ukraine, they've also set up 2 blockades at their border with Germany. But it's not just cheap imported produce of possibly inferior quality that the farmers are protesting against. They also want the withdrawal of the EU Green Deal. They say that Green Deal equals death of Polish agriculture. Reuters is reporting that farmers to the east of Warsaw are blocking entrances to the capital. And this map circulating on Twitter shows the extent of their planned activities for today. Now, the EU has responded by relaxing its rules in certain areas. But for me, relaxing the rules today will always mean tightening further in future after the powers that be have had a chance to redraft the rules and then slot them in when no one's looking. And it's not like the Polish farmers are looking for rules to be relaxed. They want them axed. Here's what protest organiser Łukasz Komorowski is quoted by Reuters as saying to fellow rallying farmers at the Zakrep blockade. We demand the withdrawal of the Green Deal as a whole. We demand the withdrawal of the Fit for 55, the limits on all emissions, all the bans and orders. The Fit for 55 plan being the EU plan to reduce the bloc's greenhouse emissions by at least 55% by 2030. These are pretty sweeping demands by the farmers. And the eco-loons will not like this one little bit. The eco-loons want agriculture culled and at least offshored as soon as possible, and preferably replaced by factory Frankenstein meats and dairy, as well as getting the citizenry into bug eating. And then cover the land with solar panels, wind farms and rabbit hutches for the hordes of humanity that they want living in the West. Although some 80% of those hordes, including us, will be limited to small urban areas with limited travelling options. Not a pleasant future. For a glimpse into that future, take a look at the Line in Saudi Arabia, something that's been touted as the land of the future. The Line is a linear smart city within a new urban area called Neom, that will stretch for 110 miles or 170 kilometres from the Red Sea to the city of Tabuk, and will house 9 million people at a huge population density of 670,000 souls per square mile, or 260,000 per square kilometre. Whereas the most populated area at the moment is Macau in China, at just over 110,000 people per square mile or 55,000 per square kilometre. And the builders of it talk about millions of cubic metres of earth and water being moved every week in order to build what they call a sustainable city with zero emissions. This project began in 2021, and the first inhabitants are due to be in this year. General humanity is to be crammed into 3D cities, relying on bugs and factory-made chemical foods for our sustenance. Presumably while the elites are allowed to act like humans should act and live off the fat of the land. And without these farmer protests and our full backing for them, that will be our fate. You better believe it. Here's a screenshot of the line vision in the desert. It looks more like a zoo or one of those children's ant houses for humans. And when people talk about these smart cities that build upwards, I always equate them to the now crumbling high-rise monstrosities of the 70s that now litter UK cities. There will be nothing natural about them. And I doubt the lifts and elevators will last long either, if it has any. I see this becoming a cloying, claustrophobic space, sapping the lives out of the residents. Residents who will always wonder what really lies beyond those desert landscapes. Anyway, that's just my view. And the woke and green agendas are how the elites plan to subjugate the people and herd humanity into these areas of ultimate control. Areas of no escape. So it's good when someone leaps in and directly confronts the woke agenda. Just as the new Reform UK MP Lee Anderson did earlier today. And the answer he got just about sums up the slavish, unthinking and unquestioning attitude our public servants have to the whole woke agenda. He was asking a question of Dorset councillor Rebecca Knox, who works with the Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue Authority.
Which I think is the same as West Sussex. OK, Lee Anderson.
Thanks, Chair. Just a couple of quick questions, please, for Councillor Rebecca Knox. I think you was in agreement that your force was institutionally racist. Is that correct?
I agreed with the report, the independent report, and so did the Chief Fire Officer accept the findings of that report. Could
you please tell me, Councillor, what unfair advantages white people have in your force?
I would hope not. None. Not advantages. Did I hear you
do they
correctly?
have any advantages?
No.
Then how can you be institutionally racist?
Sorry, I might have to get back to you.
No, you don't. You've said your force was institutionally racist, yet white people
misogynist
yet white people have no advantage at all.
Yes.
So how can it be racist?
Maybe I was interpreting the phrase of it as a whole, as a phrase that Nazir summed up.
Lee should also have asked her if anyone has resigned or been fired over it. Wouldn't that be the right reaction if they really believed in it? And now it's being claimed by Sky News that Simon Case, the UK's top civil servant, has resigned from the Men-Only Garrick Club after his name appeared on a membership list leaked to The Guardian. He hasn't the vitamins to say he's not breaking the law, so yah, boo sucks. He's obviously terrified at being viewed as non-woke. What will they say at the next dinner party I'm invited to? Or not invited to? Isn't it strange that with all the safe spaces littering the country, especially in unis, so they don't see the people they don't want to see, which should actually be called thick spaces, by the way, the only group not afforded this luxury is the men, usually white men. By the way, our woke king is also on that membership list. Now I wonder how many female top civil servants belong to women-only clubs. Come on, Guardian, spill the beans. And in a surprise move today, the super woke, pro-any immigration at all Irish Taoiseach Leo Varadkar has resigned from his position with immediate effect, claiming he's no longer the best man for the job. With many instantly shouting out, "You never were." Politicians are human beings and we have our limitations. We give it everything until we can't anymore and then we have to move on, he said at his press conference. Well, he has just suffered a double humiliating referendum defeat at the hands of the Irish people, who refused to be browbeaten into changing their national constitution into a woke manual. At least he's giving his successor a while to cobble a campaign together for a general election that must happen prior to March next year. Wonder if the Tory party is looking at that timescale and thinking to themselves, I wonder if we still have time to replace Rishi.